once again to the Paranormal Nightstalker. I am Joel Walling, and today is going to be a kind of a quickish one, and not really, don't have anything really planned, more of an explanation of why we've been absent in the past little bit, and, maybe an episode or two has been kind of phoned in, just kind of letting everybody know what's been going on this end and the stuff we have going back and forth, and some big news about the future of the Night Stalker. Not necessarily the show that you're listening to now, but what is coming in the new year. And of course, with me as always to bring this brand of insanity to the general masses is my co-host Michael Smith. So, like I said, I was trying to bring in an introduction. We're just kind of giving a little bit of a what's been going on, and of course one of the things I do need to point out at the very beginning of this is you might notice that I don't quite sound as normal as I normally do, and I hate even saying I'm fighting off a cold, because like I was saying earlier, how many times you hear people all the time fighting colds, how many of them you don't actually win? And I don't believe in fighting something if you can't win it, so why bother? But at the same time, I also don't feel, I just felt crappy for like 2 days, I guess. Stopped up nose, throat's kind of scratchy and dry, coughing. So that's why I don't have the normal sound that I would normally have when I do this. I try to sound as professional as possible, even if I don't act it. So, Michael, I hear you're sounding about the same as me.
Yeah, I'm fighting the thing too. I got the cord from Walmart.
Yeah, everything comes from Walmart, even diseases now.
Yeah. So I didn't return this.
Walmart, the only place you can get a home loan, buy a used car, get that car worked on, a new wardrobe, the flu, and a week's worth of groceries, all in one stop.
Yeah, tell me.
Well, I guess first things first. I can't go into a lot of details into this, but one of the main reasons we have been kind of withdrawn for a while, and this is including on the PNBC page, is basically whenever you do this, if you're doing it for the right reason, you're doing it to try to help people. So people have to come first. And I have right now 2 residential cases that I'm working on that have to come first. As much as I enjoy doing the podcast and I like putting the videos out on Facebook and all of that, it boils down to when it's between helping a family or someone in their home that's having something going on and putting out a new video. Like I said, the people have to come first. So that has had my full attention now for probably 2 weeks?
Yeah, because we had evidence review and we had an investigation you went on there, and then so yeah, we've been.
Yes, for 2 weeks now. It's been pretty much constantly going nonstop with that, and it's like I said, it's what we do this for. If you've gotten into it for any other reason, you're in a bad spot, because this is the fun side of it, getting to do the podcast and talk to people and that kind of stuff, and the videos online, and getting to do the live streams that we do on Facebook and that kind of stuff. That's the fun side of it. This is the not so fun side of it, especially with one of the cases I'm dealing with. And it's like I said, that is what's got to take priority over everything. And that is the meat and potatoes, and why we do what we do, and why we're here, and why we are working in this, for lack of a better term. Even though I always still believe that when you work in anything, you should get paid for it. And I have yet to get paid for it, so.
Yeah, me, I'm still waiting. It's been 20 years. I'm still waiting for a check.
Yeah. That's just kind of the way it boils down. Sorry about that. Again, like I said, I am in the process of negotiating with a cold. I won't call it fighting. But I'm negotiating with the cold. It's saying you're about to get sick, and I'm going, oh, come on. I just got sick, what, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago? Like, Jesus. It seems like anymore now, though. I catch every damn thing that's near me. And I've always worked in public, and I've always been constantly out in this, and with people and everything. So I do not understand why all of a sudden here in maybe the past, maybe 3 or 4 years, it seems like every virus that comes anywhere near me, I get.
Yeah, no, mine you just throw one by me halfway, and I've caught it.
Yeah, it's like I see one passing in a car. A person sneezes passing in a car. I'm sick the next day. It's like, Jesus Christ. Because, I used to be, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm like Superman, I'm bulletproof or something. But I used to be pretty sturdy. I could take a hit. I mean, like I said, I've always worked with public. I was manager or assistant manager of a retail cigarette store. I've worked in retail. I've worked in restaurants. I mean, I've always been in public places, and I've had the people come into the line where they're snot running down their face, and they hand you you see them standing there, which always just irked the crap out of me. See them standing there coughing or sneezing, and then they wipe their nose,
And
and then
hand
they
you money.
hand you the money in the same hand, and you're just like, I have to take this, but if I was given any other option, I would take it. You know, where I worked at the cigarette store in Kentucky, the manager actually bought the giant. I don't know how big these things are. I mean, they look like they were about a freaking gallon size bottle of hand sanitizer, and he had it behind the counter. And we kind of had the this is your stuff, that's my stuff, that kind of thing going. But he was like, no, if you have one of those customers come in, do it. It's like, geez, like, take a bath in that thing, because he didn't want to get sick any more than anybody else did. That was, and so that's what he would do to try to keep us from getting sick, and it worked pretty good there. Honestly, it did. And then I had the same thing when I worked at Big Lots, but although it was Star that gave me that, she got I don't remember what I was doing. I think I was doing some kind of update to the Nightstalker site or something, and she's like, "Oh, I don't feel so good. I don't feel so good." Only time I was really sick, and then I started getting sick, and I was like, "Oh, you gave it to me," and she's like, "Well, then I got bad news for you." "Well, what's that?" "You got pneumonia." Great, because she had the viral walking pneumonia, what they call
Yeah.
it. I was like, "Oh, Jesus," and I did. I didn't miss any work, but I had it, and it was pretty damn brutal. But that was me. I just kept going with it. It was like, of all the things, Star, you could have kept that for yourself. She's like, I like sharing.
Yeah,
Sharing
she
is
was good
caring.
about. She was good about that.
Yeah. I was like, Jesus, I felt like I had died.
But yeah, we've been busy with that, and we hate to keep saying we've got it because we hate to have it, but we've had technical issues a couple of times.
Well, yeah. Now this one, and I'm actually going to say it. I don't think it's on my end this time. I don't think. Normally, it's me trying to do something that's not supposed to happen. That I make it do it anyway. You know, and so it's. I don't think it's my end. I think it's actually the speaker recording studio that I have to use to do this, and it's as simple as that. I think it's them because we had some of the same problems this morning, although they were quite easily and quickly fixed. But we had the same problem this morning Well, actually, the problem I've been having is I can't hear anything I guess you would say the guests are saying when we put them on, because normally we record either through Skype or through Facebook chat, and I can't hear anything, which makes it very, very difficult to talk to people when you can't hear them. Because if you try to talk to them and you can't hear them, they can hear you. They can answer all the questions you ask, but you have no clue what they're actually saying. So it's difficult to do. So we had this problem a couple of days ago. We were trying to record with psychic medium Sherry, and we couldn't get it to do it. Every time I'd start the recording, it would just they could hear me, and I could see the bars moving. So I knew that if we were doing this live, you would be able to hear them, the people listening this to you, but I couldn't hear them. So like I said, it's hard to hold a conversation when you can't hear them. So we kept trying. Finally, I just got fed up with it, and then I started getting sick, and I'm like, okay, I'm getting fed up with it more. And now we start up the recording today, which Skype actually is integrated to work with the program itself, and it's doing the same damn thing. Although I changed one setting on here, which if you don't mind, after we record this, I might call you back on Facebook just to try it.
No problem.
I changed one setting, and it works. It works out fine. So hopefully, maybe that is the fix for it, because I guess that could be a good segue into the big news I had teased at the beginning of the program. And the big news is it's starting in January, starting in the new year. I'm not exactly sure what day. This is all still in the work, but I will give you an exact date. And of course, like I said, we will be constantly putting out episodes. But we have decided to branch the Nightstalker brand off some. And we are actually going to be doing the Nightstalker podcasting network. And basically right now we are looking for new podcasts. We have a few people who are interested and a couple of people who are confirmed. I'll tell you about that later. But right now we're looking for if you have an interest in doing a podcast, and the reason I'm dropping the paranormal side of it is because the podcast does not necessarily need to be paranormal. And I'm also going to be throwing out a wide net for the term paranormal. A lot of people think, oh, paranormal, and that means ghost. And it's not. Paranormal means a lot of different things. I mean, paranormal actually fits conspiracies. UFO, cryptozoology, all of these different things fit into the paranormal, the metaphysical, the mediums and this kind of thing. That all fits in the paranormal, and we're interested in having all of that represented on the network. So we're looking at rolling that out. Oh crap. Oh no, it didn't. I thought I just hit my mute button. We're looking at rolling that out in January. And we already know the first person, and as far as I can tell, she is going to be wanting to do a weekly podcast. That is what we were discussing yesterday. We are going to have, right now the title is being played with, of The Dark Side of the Paranormal with June Lundgren. She is going to be doing her own podcast, bringing you a little more, besides having guests and talking about the cases she's been on, her working with Ghost Adventures and all the different teams she's worked with in the Midwest and the places in England, and I mean, she's been literally all over the world. But she's also going to be giving you a little bit of an inside look to the life of the Demon Seer. If anyone has saw the Ghost Adventures episode that she was on, you saw what just a brief entry into her world, what it did to Zach Bagans. And that was just a glimpse into her world. And so I'm really excited for that one to get started. Also, we are looking at right now maybe a once a month show with psychic medium Sherry, where she's actually going to be doing mind, body, and spirit, and covering all the different things into bringing balance into your life and the things like that. And of course, that's more of her expertise than mine, so I don't want to speak a lot into it. But that's another one that we're going to be bringing you on this network. Basically, you're going to be able to find them exactly where you find us. All of the usual suspects: iTunes, Podcast Addict, Stitcher, SoundCloud, Spotify. I am also attempting right now to work out a deal with iHeartRadio where we will have a network, our own. So basically, what you will do is you can go
Sweet.
on to iHeartRadio, and instead of like when you go to where we have our Amazon Alexa, you would go to. Oh, I said it, and I'm glad it didn't set yours off. I forgot it when I said it. Usually, when I say that name, Michael's chimes in, but we would actually where you would go on to that now and be like, play speaker, then station Paranormal Nightstalker, and you would find us, and they would play our episodes. This would be, you would say, hey, play iHeart, the iHeartRadio station would be there, which iHeartRadio has a thing where you can actually add the stations on and it plays it on its own. But one of the things that it's requesting, and same with Alexa, is you need to have a massive amount of content, and you need to have, they don't want someone to be able to listen to, if they listen to your station for 2 or 3 days, they've heard everything you have. So they're wanting, I think they said they want a minimum of like 50 hours of content, and that's a massive amount. So I'm actually trying to work out a deal with them, because we have nearly the content hours needed. Well, not really nearly. We got about half of them. But I'm thinking when we throw in 2 or 3 other podcasts that would work well on the network. And like I said, if you're listening to this and you have an interest in doing a podcast, and you're an investigator, or you're a researcher, or you're someone working with the metaphysical, or like I said earlier, we're definitely looking for a crypto person and a UFO person, because I would love to have those two things represented on the network. And I think the last one I would really, really look for is a conspiracy theorist, because I know you and I have always had a thing for conspiracies.
Oh, I know. That's one of my favorite things.
It was funny. I was just
Only
actually.
because there's so many parts to most of them that really get all of it, and that's kind of like that.
I was on Paranormal Horizons not that long ago. I was I stepped in for Sherry. She couldn't make it, so I was the co-host with Jason, and me and him actually got to talking to conspiracies about the moon. And I told him, because we were talking about the moon landing being faked, and I was like, I honestly believe, I was like, it's sad to say this, but we had the technology to strap men onto chairs and blast them with explosives into outer space. What we didn't have was the technology to be able to fake it. And it's true, because a lot of people forget that the moon landing was actually broadcast all day, every day. It was not, oh, look, here's pictures, or here's a report on the nightly news. No, when Neil Armstrong and all them, they went to the moon, that was the news. That was the TV shows. That was everything, because it was something no one ever thought would actually happen. And it did. So yes, the people watched that all day, every day. In order to have faked that, it would have had to have been on film. And it would have taken somewhere in the neighborhood of like 5 or 6 football stadiums full of film in order to have done that. Because much like I've pointed out before with the as a computer nerd, I got a huge kick out of this picture from the I think it was the 1960s. I think it was around the time of the Apollo missions. Them bringing a 5 megabyte drive into NASA, and it took a flatbed cart, a forklift, and 4 people to do it.
Yeah, they didn't have a lot of storage space back in those days.
You know, look at our, just for a second, stop to think, and this is something probably everybody that hears me has near them or is listening to this on. The phone in your hand has several thousand times that amount of storage. Most pictures, those memes you guys love to share, hell, I love to share them too. Those memes are bigger. That storage device, that was what they were bringing in to NASA to help land on the moon, would not store one picture. My wife can attest to this. Her phone's got several hundred on it. This is how big our devices are compared to then. Film was the same way. If you look at a DVD, you look at a CD, if you're old enough to remember cassettes and those kind of things, there was a time limit on all of them. Even now, when we look at a CD-ROM, or a CDR rather, a writable CDR is 700 megabytes. You can get double density and get 1.4 gigs. But after that amount of storage, you can't write anymore. Well, as with phones and storage space in that sense, everything we've used has gotten smaller. We haven't really developed anything new, we've just gotten smaller. And it's the same thing with the stuff for film. To have had 24-hour-a-day broadcasts going, they would have had to have had a massive amount of film. And it would have had to have been delivered to every network and broadcast. So it's impossible. It's impossible to have been faked. Now, where I believe a conspiracy does exist, why haven't we gone back to the moon? And not only why hasn't the U.S. gone back to the moon, why hasn't anyone gone back to the moon?
Well, this is going to sound a little bit tinfoil hatish, but I do believe that when they were there the first time, which is doubtful. Why would you spend all that money and then only go once? We went more than once actually, but but why would you not do more with it? I don't know. Some people say that they thought they saw stuff. They heard broadcasts of, they were missing parts of the recordings that aren't, and that kind of stuff. I don't know. That whole thing has been a little bit much for me. I have to admit.
Yeah, and I understand that they ran into something up there, but like I said, it is weird that. Well, this kind of goes into another conspiracy we've been going back and forth about. I've talked about the flat Earth conspiracy, and not even going.
Oh Lord!
Not going into the ridiculousness that it is, but let's just look at this as any other conspiracy. Okay, this is a global conspiracy, meaning everyone on the planet has agreed to everyone in power rather, on the planet has agreed to follow this lie. This planet does not like each other. If we don't like you because of your gender, we're going to hate you because of your race. If we don't like you because of your race, we're going to hate you because of your religion. We are going to find a reason to hate each other. It's what we do. And it's really the only thing we do well, is hate each other and kill each other. Are you seriously telling me that every country of power, China, Japan, Russia, England, Germany, the United States, all of these different countries sat down at a big table and said, okay, everybody thinks the world's round and we're going to have to stick with that. And not once did one of those people get pissed off enough to run and tell it. I mean, really, you're never going to get everyone on this planet to agree about anything. Nothing. I'm sure there are people out there that would either argue the fact of water being wet or ice being cold. So, there's no way you're going to get them to agree on something this big. Now, we know that not everybody has a or a space program. Not every country has it. But we know China did, or does. We know Russia does. China and Russia are two countries that do not like the United States. They have never really liked the United States. There's always been conflict between China, Russia, and the United States. So when we say, nope, we're not going to the moon anymore, what stopped them from jumping on that bandwagon? What stopped them from sending people to the moon? I mean, for a long time, the reason there was a space race is because Russia had said it would claim the moon if it got there first. Well, the United States says, we're done. We're not ever going back there. Fine, that's open business then. Let's go up there and claim the moon. There's got to be... It does lead or lend credence to... Blah, blah, blah. Okay, word salad time. It does lead credibility to the thought that there may have been something there, or they at least saw something that made them go, oh crap, we don't want to piss this off. It might not have necessarily been on the moon, but it may have been something that passed by the moon, or something that landed on the moon while they were there. Something big enough and bad enough that there was a call from the White House to the Kremlin and said, listen, we were told to stay the hell off there. And you don't want to mess with these things. That, I believe, could have possibly gotten a call to the other heads of the countries and said, listen, stay off the moon. It had to have been something universally big enough and bad enough that there was no hope of winning against it. Because if it was anything else, then they would have kept going. I honestly believe that. If the U.S. didn't, if the U.S. said, listen, this is too expensive, we're not really finding anything new, I think we've exhausted all the options up there, we're done, I think Russia would have. Because I think Russia would have tried to have colonized it by now. I mean, let's face it, they were the ones that built the space station. And if not Russia, then China. And God knows China could use the room. But China's one of the most overpopulated countries in the world. So they definitely could have used the room.
That's true.
That was just, that, like I said, that's always been my thoughts on that. So I would love to get a conspiracy show going. One that I don't have to, I will be working as co-host with some of these just because we need the person or the person needs the ability of being able to record, I can record. Where there are some that would probably be able to do their own recording on their end, ship me the file or not ship, but email me the file and I can put it up that way. But it's probably going to be easier, all in all, if I just call them on Skype and do the recording myself and put it through the program. But at least that, like I said, that is the plan as it stands right now. The plan for the coming year. We've got a little over 6 weeks left in this year.
Yeah, about that.
Yeah, kind of, man. It's really crazy to think that there's only 6 weeks left in this year. Thereabout.
Yeah.
Because we're middle of November right now.
Yeah, time flies when you're having fun. We've had a busy year.
Yes, we have actually, and it doesn't look like it's getting any slower. I don't know if it's a good thing or a bad thing.
I was hoping it would slow down some, but usually November is the month when you clean up all the messes people did in October.
Well, so far I haven't had that problem, but I have seen other people talking about drastic spikes in activity and severity of activity, where it's like it ain't grandpa or grandma coming back anymore. It's something slightly on the. I'm not saying demonic or evil or any of that. I'm just saying something on the not so friendly side, because to quote Star, an asshole in death or asshole in life is an asshole in death. You don't become a better person just because you die. That was one of hers that she always taught, and I still teach her methods to this day. That anyone that asks me this kind of stuff for any of that.
Bless her heart, I miss her every day.
Yep. They said can't remember what religion I was just watching something about this the other day, and they were talking about that. They said they believe people have 2 deaths. One of the physical, and one when people forget you. And God knows she ain't never going to have that death. You know it.
No.
The physical one, that one's inevitable. But because actually, funny enough, I can't remember who it was. I can't remember if it was John or Dan was actually talking about that, and somebody asked something about what if the person was just nasty and mean in their life, and they looked and they're like, well, the person who got Joel involved in this, she was fond of saying that you don't become a better person just because you die. So a nasty person will stay a nasty person. They're even quoting her. That was like a goal for me. It was like once I can start getting them quoting Star, I've got them on the right path.
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
We got what else we got going on? Don't we have something else going on, or did I forget?
I think I did mention 3 things, but I don't remember what they are.
I might be confused. It doesn't take a lot anymore.
No, it doesn't. And especially even for me. Like I said, I'm sitting here right now, and it's like at the beginning of the show, I'm pretty sure I said 3 things, but I don't remember what they were. I remember why we were, kind of absent for the past little bit, what we were having go on in the new year, and I'm drawing blank on the rest of it. They got into talking about conspiracies and stuff like that, and that's brain went kabooey.
Well, that's all right. We're good. Trying to think. I can't think of nothing else. There probably is, mind you, but we're not normal, and
no, it's
our
like
thoughts.
I said, we're both kind of under the weather, and Green Day wrote a song, and it's called wake me up when September ends, because they were doing a political thing about the world and the shambles that it's in and terrorism and all that. I'm basically doing a song called "Wake Me Up When October Ends," because so far October hasn't ended yet. I was actually going to take a week off at the beginning of November because I didn't see anything pushing, and I'm like, okay, that will work. That didn't happen. And we're still kind of burning it at both ends. At least now I could say we do have a little bit of light at the end of the tunnel. And that is until next year, when we start having multiple podcasts come out on our network, and we're still doing this. And, well, actually, what's that?
Investigations and evidence review. And
yeah, that's actually, I guess I could... I can't... another one, I can't give any details out. But if you're in the Terrace Kitimat area, we have something possibly in the works that could be big. And like I said, I can't give any details out about this at all, because everything is in the very early developmental stages of it. Very early. But I will bring you those updates as soon as I get any information at all about it. And that is, like I said, if you're in this area, it's going to be something big. And I'm sure there will be other ways of other people kind of following it and whatever. Because I don't know exactly what all it'll do. Because, like I said, it's in the very, 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 very early stages of development in that. Or if it'll even go all the way through. Hoping it does, but there's no sign, there's no guarantee that it will. So I think we have filled out all the time I can fill out for today, because like I said, I know there's a third thing that I was talking about, but it's gone.
We'll be all right. We'll get it next week.
Yep, there is always next time, and there will always be a next time, even if we're a little late or a little falling behind. We'll always try to have something coming out at some point. Oh, I will tell you. That's what I was thinking about, and I was going to tell. This is going to be coming up in an upcoming show. We're still talking about setting the date, but they do want to be on, and this is a group out of England called DNA Paranormal. I believe it's David and Lexi is the two. It's a husband and wife team, I believe, named David and Lexi. And they do YouTube videos, they do live streams, they do stuff like that. But she put out a video, or I guess they put out a video, but she was the one on screen and on camera talking about it. And she did this on YouTube on the 13th, I believe it was, the day after the passing of Stan Lee. And I love the video. It is incredible. It is amazing. I love that somebody actually sat down and did this. She took a spirit box and did a scan, did not ask any questions, and just simply said, before she did it, I promise you, I will get the name Stan Lee. So she starts her scan, and she's sitting there, and it sure didn't take all that damn long until you hear Stan Lee come through. And it was a video showing how one of the biggest frauds in paranormal history has made a fortune on YouTube. It was a video showing exactly how Stephen Huff of Huff Paranormal faked his way to fame. Because basically what she did is she sat down with her spirit box, watched the clock, waited for the news updates to start playing, where, guess what's going to be making news? The death of Stan Lee. She films her video, she does her scan. And to quote Jim Cornette, well, wouldn't you know who won the pony? There's Stan Lee's name. Of course, there's going to be Stan Lee's name. He just died the day before. That's how Huff Paranormal is doing these videos, where they come running out, and every time a celebrity dies, he's editing the video within hours. And that's how he does it. Yet he gets 40, 50, 60, 70,000 subscribers on YouTube to watch this stuff. And he fools these people into thinking that it's legitimate. And worse yet, is not only does he fool the people into thinking it's legitimate, he actually sells them the devices to do it. And then when something doesn't work right with them, or they don't get results, or I know more than one person that simply got a pile of crap from him. It didn't work at all. Not like didn't pick up spirit voices or something, because none of that stuff's guaranteed. I'm talking about putting batteries in the damn thing, turning it on, and it going bleh, nothing. They message him, sorry, no refunds, sold as is. So you sold something that doesn't work. Another person that I know had, can't remember what device it was from them. They were asking a simple modulation question. It's a form email because they simply sent them everything that's sold on Huff Paranormal is sold as is. You have to figure everything else out yourself. So,
yeah, I'm interested in hearing that.
Yeah,
So I can't.
For that episode.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say, but I couldn't talk.
Yeah, now I'm going to be going over their YouTube channel. I want to see exactly what all they've been doing because, frankly, I ran into them on a paranormal page on Facebook. Which, if like I keep saying, if you're in any of the paranormal groups on Facebook, keep an eye out. You will probably talk to me at some point. But because I'm always there, I'm floating around. But they posted, I believe it was David posted the video, and I'm like, okay, I'll watch the video, but then after I'm done, I'm going to tear you apart. I'm ready for this because I'm like, we do not need another freaking Huff Paranormal out here. We don't need that. The paranormal itself does not need that. Yeah, we don't even need the first one, but we got him. We got to get rid of him, but we got him. So, but we don't need a new one. We do not need a new Huff Paranormal. So I'm watching this video, and then she just starts tearing into it, and I'm like, oh, wait, I think I found my new favorite person, She just started tearing into him, and then she's like, and she actually does call him out by name. She's like, I tell you what, if you want to do this as a legitimate thing, you want to do it as a actual, like, attempting because you are a fan or whatever, you want to do this as something legitimate, don't monetize the damn videos. It's like, if they were to demonetize the videos, it would stop. If the subscribers that subscribe to them because of these celebrity videos didn't subscribe to them, she's like, if you look at Huff Paranormal, Stephen Huff, he would probably lose 40 to 60,000 subscribers. And it's the damn truth. I mean, to put it in the words of, there were zero fucks given. She just went right out and just put it out there. And I love seeing that with the paranormal. We need that more and more, especially now, because we live in a time where everything is so easily faked. You can fake pictures, you can fake videos, you can fake audio, you can fake all of this stuff. And we are living in a time where everything is easily faked. And that makes what we're doing even harder, because we are in an uphill battle at all times, because we are attempting to use things that were not created for what we're using them for, to prove something we can't see, we can't feel, we can't hear, we can't touch, and most people do not believe exists. We are in an uphill battle. So every time we have somebody that comes out that makes a mockery and a joke of this, it makes it even harder for us. They're throwing marbles and oil and, they're Donkey Kong throwing drums at people at the top of the freaking hill. Because these guys that do fake crap, they get the most attention. Because it's the letting them hear what they want to hear. I always think about a movie, or not a movie, this was a TV show, it was also a book by my favorite author, Neil Gaiman. He wrote a book called American Gods and made it into a TV show. The TV show was not great. I will say that the TV show was not great. I don't think I made it through. I don't even know if I watched all of season 1, and it's a real shame because I'm a huge fan of his. But anyway, they were visiting these fortune tellers, and the one woman was talking about how, oh, my sister's always the popular one. And he's like, well, why is that? She's like, well, it's simple. My sister tells them what they want to hear. You're going to you're going to marry your crush and have many strong, beautiful children. You're going to run away and have a romantic vacation with a tall, dark stranger. This kind of thing. She's like, I tell them what they need to hear. And he was like, oh. So they had given him tea. Like, well, she's like, so which one do you want us to read your leaves? And he's like, okay, well, you say you tell me you'll tell me what I need to hear. And it was actually one of the greatest scenes. It's hilarious because she looks down at his cup, looks back up at him and goes, your mother died of cancer. He's like, yes, how'd you know that? You don't have to worry about cancer. And turned around and walked off, telling him basically the guy was going to die soon. He didn't have to worry about dying of cancer. But, it's the same thing with this. They don't want to hear, yeah, we've been doing this, we've been drudging through here, we've been in this site, we get a faint voice here or there. They want the Huff guy sitting there going, well, now I'm talking to, I think he did the Paul Walker one. That was one of them that really got him a lot of crap because he did it like within hours. And it became a punchline that anytime there was a death announced of a celebrity, he was editing the video as we speak. That kind of thing. And that's what the people wanted to hear. All of his fans were sitting there and, oh God, he was dead and he was gone. And so they put in another one was Robin Williams. Well, as soon as you type that in, his video is one of the first that pops up. So he got the most attention because he gave what they wanted to hear.
Well, I mean, when you think about the hours that we spend going over evidence for our own cases, I mean, we had the case for the Heritage Park that we can talk about now. I mean, I did evidence review on audio and video for like 7 hours a day for like 2 weeks.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not sure.
And, that's the kind of stuff people don't see, picking out EVPs and shadows and whatever you can find, you're looking at. And then to have somebody come along and throw a spirit box up and get the evening news makes a mockery of all the work that people do,
Oh, yeah.
It's a slap in the damn face. He really can't even call himself, and people like that shouldn't even call themselves investigators, as far as I'm concerned, because they're charlatans. They're not doing anything. They're in it for the views and the money on YouTube, and that's all.
That's exactly it. They're just there for the money. They're just in it for the money. Because, like I said, this guy, and one of the biggest ones I saw, and I was just absolutely, just dumbfounded, shocked. Was he sold one of his original spirit boxes, and it went to auction. And I think the damn thing sold for either $10,000 or $20,000.
There's a sucker board every minute.
Well, that sucker's got far more money than he's got sense. But it's like, just stupid stuff like that. That's all that guy is. Because if he was about anything to actually do or anything to actually help with anything, then when somebody does write him that has bought one of his spirit boxes or one of his, whatever the hell he wants to call them, the ITC devices, writes with a question. First off, and I do know people that make this stuff. Sorry, the guy's name is escaping me, but he runs PI, the Paranormal Investigation Equipment site. He builds the stuff by hand. If you bought a spirit box from him and you turned that damn thing on and it didn't work and you emailed him, he would have you an apology issued like within minutes. I'm so sorry. I will ship it back to me and I'll make sure this is right. Because the guy is doing a legitimate thing. He is building equipment to be used on investigations. Everything he does is handmade. If something's not right about it, he will fix it. And that's it, hands down. There is no way in hell he would write, sorry, everything's sold as is. And if you had a question about the device, let's say you buy one of his, I know he does a specialized 2-in-1 standard definition and full spectrum camera, which I love. If you had questions about that, and I've actually asked him stuff on the thread. If you were to ask him a question about that, he would answer the damn question. That shows you right there the amount of history involved with Steve Huff. It's simply that the reason he ain't answering the question is he don't know how to answer the question. He's found a good gimmick, and that's it. He's got a gimmick. And I'm glad more and more people are busting that gimmick. He's like the pretty boy in Vegas, only worse, actually. And that everybody knows my opinion of that. You know, Huff is even worse than Zach, and that says a lot about a person. So, anything else you want to add on for this week?
No, I'm good. I can't talk anymore. My voice is going. So.
All right. Well, then I'll tell you what. I will get in our shameless plugs, and we will call it a week. And, of course, if you would like more details, talk to us, have a complaint, or want to tell me to shut up for a while, you can do so by finding us on Facebook at Nightstalker Pod, or Twitter, again, at Nightstalker Pod. Easy to figure that one out. Okay, then now if you want to follow what we're doing with PNBC, the investigation group we are working, or we're not working, we founded, that you can find on Facebook at Paranormal BC or www.paranormalbc.com. Now, if for some unknown origin and mystery of the universe, this podcast has been broadcast directly into your head through your fillings of your teeth, and you want to hear more of it, you can find us on just about any place you want to find your podcasts at, except for your I guess including the fillings in your teeth. If it happened once, it might do it again. But to download it, you can do so or to subscribe, which I've been reminded now. I need to remind people to subscribe to the podcast. I don't do that often. I just say listen to it, because I guess it doesn't really matter to me if you subscribe or not. If you want to listen to it, listen to it. But subscribe to the podcast. Give us a subscribe at Podcast Addict, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, SoundCloud, YouTube. I'm trying to remember where else we are, because I know I'm forgetting places. I know we're on about 9 now. And hopefully soon on... Actually, we're already on Speaker, and the Speaker app for Amazon's device that was just yelling a minute ago, and I won't say her name. You can subscribe to us there and never miss an episode. Plus, that will give you the best best way of finding out when the new Nightstalker Network will launch, when the Nightstalker podcasting empire will come forth, like Darth Vader lashing through the side of a spaceship and just take everything over.
I was thinking more like Fred Sanford with his empire, but okay.
Okay, yeah, Fred Sanford works too.
It works too.
Yeah. Yep, that one works too. But I was going a little more dramatic with the Darth Vader and the, and all that. And these are the podcasts you're looking for, so we can even throw that one in too. So we got stuff working out. But anyway, you can hear more about when that launches, and of course how to find those podcasts and listen along, and more about even getting even questions into those podcasts. Of course, we also do take questions here if you trust us enough to answer them. But with that note, this is Joel Walling signing off for Michael Smith for this week, and we will talk again soon.